Welcome to the Ask Jordan podcast, answering your questions about selling on Amazon. Now, with a mouth bigger than any fulfillment center, from Long Island, New York, here's your host, Jordan Malik.
Hello, listeners. This is Jordan Malik. You're listening to the Ask Jordan podcast. This is our 29th episode. I appreciate so much that you taking time out of part of your day to listen to me. And you had so many choices of other Spreecasts, podcasts, YouTube videos, the radio, and you had a lot of distractions. And I'm very, very thankful that you chose to listen to me. And I'm very, very appreciative of the listenership. I love the comments that are coming in. I love the fact that many of you are loyal. To date, we've had almost 17,000 downloads of the Ask Jordan podcasts. And that is since about late March. So roughly 2.5 months. Let's see, March, April, May. Yeah, 2.5 months, right. And 17,000 downloads. Of course, this isn't, I'm not the number one podcast, but that's still I think, very impressive. And it wouldn't happen without the listeners, which is you. So thank you so much. Every episode, we answer one question from you about selling on Amazon. If you miss any of our other podcasts, go to askjordan.net, where you'll be able to instantly listen or download them or get them on iTunes. Also, remember that I'm on YouTube, bit.ly/jbmtube, bit.ly/jbmtube. That's my YouTube channel, and there's over 100 videos there, and many of them cover the subjects of selling on Amazon and eBay. You can get 7 of my best-selling ebooks if your question is answered on this podcast. So at the end of the podcast, in just a few minutes, I'll tell you exactly how. If you hear me mention the URL, just like I did a moment ago, jbmtube, bit.ly/jbmtube, these URLs would be posted at askjordan.net next to the corresponding episode. So, for instance, today, if you hear a URL that you want to revisit, just go to askjordan.net, look for the 29th episode entry on that page, and the links will be written there. Our question today is from Damon. Go ahead, Damon.
Hi, Jordan. This is Damon Knight from Chicago. I love your podcast. What is your take on the Amazon FBA seller freeze on Disney frozen items like Elsa? Do you think this is a temporary or a permanent freeze on Disney, Amazon FBA freeze on the Disney frozen items? Thank you.
Hey, Damon, I'm glad you brought that up. Damon, for those of you who don't know, Damon is referring to merchandise that is around, merchandise that is related to the Disney movie, the hit Disney movie, Frozen. Animated movie called Frozen. Spawned off a lot of merchandise and hot merchandise. I mean, figures and dolls and dresses that were selling, in the stores for $25, and the Disney stores, for instance, were selling for $80, $100. I recently posted something on my Facebook page for jordanmalik.com, a girl's dress, a girl's dress-up Frozen dress was selling for over $1,000 on eBay. And the problem when you have a hugely successful merchandise or franchised merchandise, like Star Wars or like Disney Frozen or the Mickey Mouse stuff or the Muppets or whatever, is that knockoffs start appearing. China, particularly factories in China, are very adept at making counterfeit. I bought from a website, one of those deal of the day websites. A few months ago, I bought Legos. They were called Legos, and they were like superhero Legos, like DC and Marvel superheroes. And I got them, and I discovered they were imported from China, and they were knockoffs. They're pretty good knockoffs. I forced them to give me all the money back, and I shipped it all back. I'm not in the business of selling counterfeit items, but it's a very serious thing that Amazon is dealing with. And if you don't know, on early March, I believe it was early March of this year, Amazon restricted sellers from posting Disney Frozen merchandise, from selling the merchandise, and many people got policy warnings, etc., because Amazon suspected they were selling counterfeit, which is possible because I'm sure a lot of what happens, a lot of sellers said, "Oh, I can't get my hands on any Disney Frozen merchandise. Let me see if I can find some from a supplier in China, and I'll just go direct." It doesn't really work like that. And they probably called up Alibaba.com and found some Chinese suppliers of Disney for what they thought was official Frozen merchandise. And they probably paid, well, I know for a fact, many sellers paid $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 for boxes and boxes and pallets of Disney Frozen merchandise and sent it in. And Disney's a very powerful company. And when word got out that these were not authentic or they broke too easily, there was a slew of complaints to Disney or Amazon. They put two and two together and said, hey, this stuff is counterfeit. So across the board, Amazon has pulled all the listings for the most part of the Disney Frozen merchandise. And they have also given policy warnings, etc. So Damon has brought this up, and a very good topic to bring up is, hey, Jordan, what's your take? What do we do? Now, in some instances, I have heard of the honest sellers that are selling the merchandise have appealed to Amazon and provided receipts, like a Disney store receipt. Let's say you went into a Disney store and you bought 100 Disney Frozen Elsa dolls or what have you, and they produced the receipts for Amazon seller support and said, can you please unfreeze my listing or let me post these because I have an official receipt from Disney showing you where I got the product and that I legitimately paid for it. Or I'm sure some people have bought the items direct from DisneyStore.com or maybe had an official Disney distributor if there is one. I don't know. I'm not saying that tactic will work. I'm saying I've read online of some sellers that have successfully had Amazon release the restrictions on their individual listings because they were able to provide proof. I'm not saying that's going to work. Now, if Amazon allows you to ship the items back to you, which you can do, you do go to Amazon Seller Central and you create I think it's called a removal report. I think it's under your Manage FBA Inventory tab. You can create a removal report and have the item shipped back to you. I don't know if I would assume they'll let you do that. That is an option. Will Amazon lift all the restrictions on the products? I don't know. I really don't know because it could go either way. If Amazon lifts the restrictions on the products, that still leaves a lot of counterfeit items, counterfeit products that are probably sitting on Amazon shelves. And I don't think Amazon is going to go to every shelf throughout its warehouse because, these aren't all stored together. They're stored in different areas. One doll is stored in one area and the same exact doll is stored in another, so that it's not like they're all together. So it's not like Amazon can just go to the area in their warehouses that have all the Disney Frozen merchandise and go through piece by piece. I don't think that's going to happen. I have a feeling that Amazon is not going to lift the restriction. And that's just my gut. I could be wrong. It's just my opinion. And in that case, I would consider, if you have merchandise sitting there, to have it sent back to you, create a removal order, go to Amazon seller support, their official Amazon seller, help, click on, get help or whatever from your Amazon seller interface, your Amazon seller page, and figure out how to get your products back to you and then sell them on eBay. That is if they're genuine. If they're not genuine, if you have any suspect that they're not genuine, try to return them to the retailer. And if you can't do that, I would not take the risk of trying to sell counterfeit items on eBay or Amazon, even if you just suspect they might be counterfeit. And you don't know how this is going to affect the overall prices. Will the prices continue as we get closer to Christmas? Will the prices go up? Will the prices stabilize? Will the prices go down? I don't know. This is an expensive lesson for some people who invested a lot of money. And when I say invest a lot of money, I mean if you spent more than $1,000 on Disney Frozen merchandise and now you can't sell it, it's an expensive lesson. One, don't jump on a bandwagon. It's very easy to get burned. The bandwagon that I remember the most clearly was where I got lucky and made a decent amount of profit was when the Zuzu pets came out. I think it was 2008, 2009, I forget. Remember the Zuzu pets? There were hamsters that chirped and interacted and rolled around on wheels. The reason why those were a big hit was because there was a shortage. That's not actually technically correct. The hamsters became a big hit. The reason why the prices skyrocketed is because there was a shortage up there. The manufacturer couldn't keep up for a while, and there was a delay. And the demand for these items that were normally retailing for $6 or $8 were selling for $50. I personally sold some for, I think, $50 or $60 on Amazon. So the problem is that when you jump on a bandwagon on something that's that popular as Disney Frozen merchandise, everybody else is doing it. All the other sellers are having a knee-jerk reaction and going out and buying Frozen merchandise and doing the same thing. So you're amongst competition. And B, it's going to spawn off counterfeits that may make your life complicated. So I always tell sellers, Damon, including you, make sure you diversify. I don't even really, to this day, I don't do a lot of wholesale. There's nothing wrong with buying wholesale, depending on the product. Particularly, it's a great thing to do if it's your own product that you've branded or if you found a product that's not in the Amazon catalog. But if I'm going to do that, I need to really research the similar products to that product and make sure that this is going to be a volume seller that I'll be able to move quickly. The same amount of risk is there if you don't do it. Many people will blindly buy a wholesale lot that they saw online on liquidation.com. And by the time they've had it shipped to them, and two semi-trailer trucks show up and they've got pallets of this stuff, and it costs several $1,000s, and all their success, that's all the money they had. So all their money is tied up on that inventory. The same thing with Disney Frozen merchandise. Even if I was 100% sure bet that this merchandise is going to sell great, I wouldn't put thousands of dollars in that line of products. I'd probably hedge my bets and put in a fraction of what I initially wanted to invest. I always try to stay diversified. I tell people spend equal amounts of money across different product categories. If you're going to spend $100 on used book inventory, spend $100 on used toys, which Amazon calls collectible, $100 on new toys, $100 on used CDs and DVDs, $100 on new, used, and CDs, DVDs, $100 on kitchenware, etc. Try to stay diversified in your product purchases that you're buying to resell. And then also, if you're going to, you shouldn't just specialize in one product category. You shouldn't be doing only toys and games. There's no sense in that because there's so much opportunity in different product categories. You should also be, if you are going to do it one category or you're going to submit a lot of money to one category, you should be doing different lines of products. If you're going to be buying Disney merchandise, you should also be buying Mattel merchandise and Hasbro from different lines, character lines within those. Don't pour all your money into one thing because you think it's going to be a hit. So again, I don't know if they're going to lift this freeze. I would try to get, if you have merchandise sitting at Amazon, I try to get it back to you. And also under the title of diversification, everybody should have another seller venue open in case something. What about if Amazon shuts down your account, for instance? That has happened where people are legitimate sellers and they get a bad run of counterfeit items, or they have a bad run of customer service, and Amazon will temporarily or permanently shut down their account. What do you do? Well, what you should do, one of your options if you're permanently shut down, is to try to sell your stuff on eBay. And I keep my eBay accounts open. Not only keep your eBay account, whether you have one or more, open, you got to keep it active. You should be selling 1 or 2 items a month on there. So eBay, at least 1 or 2 items a month. So eBay sees that you have activity and that you're a legitimate seller. In case you have to, for whatever reason, stop selling on Amazon and then start selling on eBay to keep your revenue streams coming in. Now, eBay is probably not the ideal thing for all the merchandise that you have that you would normally sell on Amazon, but it's your next best option if anything should happen to your Amazon seller account. So whatever product sourcing or product selling or selling venues you're doing, make sure that you're diversifying to spread your risk. If one cylinder goes down, you have the other 7 cylinders out of the 8 to keep the motor running. Okay, Damon, that's a great question. I'm very, very happy that you asked that. So Damon gets 7 of my best-selling ebooks about selling on Amazon and eBay. They're worth well over $75 total. Damon, please contact me at AskJordan.net. Click on the little envelope icon in the upper right-hand corner underneath where it says Contact Me. Send me an email so I know where to send you these ebooks. If you, the listener, if you have a question about selling on Amazon you'd like answered, go to AskJordan.net or call 516-619-ONLINE. That's 516-619-6654. If I pick your question to answer, you'll get 7 of my best-selling ebooks. Their total price for everyone else is over $75. And just like Damon, you'll get to hear your voice on my podcast. While you're there, please subscribe to my free newsletter. There's a lot of eBay and Amazon selling strategies and ideas, what to sell, how to increase your profits, etc. So go to AskJordan.net, scroll down, the sign-up form is on the right-hand side. Hey, thanks for listening to the Ask Jordan podcast. We'll see you again in our next episode.